Hi. How lucky are we to be listening once again to the I probably shouldn't say this, but show with John and Matt. Here's John and Matt.
Look at the script. The teleprompter stuttered. With the teleprompter here, I've got a math lead for any questions that come up with math related.
This is warm. Where did you get this?
It's my urine. I put it in Corona bottles. Why? You're not drinking it, are you?
How come it's so frothy? Your urine has a lot of head on it.
Why my urine is frothy is none of your damn business. I'll just tell you straight up.
The kind of thing you might want to get looked at.
I don't want to look at it. It's just fine. Everything's fine. Everything between me and my urine is fine. Okay, maybe you're a problem with it, but it's not my problem. It's you. It's an issue you have to.
What do you got for the show tonight?
Well, I was thinking about pride.
Yeah, which probably
it's
a first time
hard not
for
to
you.
think about pride.
Oh, pride, not like real human pride.
No. We were inundated, infiltrated.
Both.
We were beset on.
Penetrated would be a better way.
We were penetrated with pride
By a long column of pride. The long column of pride.
The parade went forward and then it went backwards, and then the parade went forward and then went backwards, and then it sped up.
Yeah, and then it was done, and then the parade fell asleep.
Parade had a cigarette.
Had a cigarette, little snack, maybe some cold pizza.
Spoons.
Yeah.
It was a crazy weekend here on Salt Spring Island. It's just, and it's a fabulous weekend. I don't think they do it better anywhere else. I think we have got a monopoly on pride.
I don't know.
I
don't. Well, you haven't been to any other Pride parade.
I was out of town this weekend. Otherwise,
I know. I was at the Pride
parade. I would have
parade.
been there throwing the condoms back at them. The ones they were throwing at me. I would have been
this
throwing
time
them back.
it was condoms,
yeah,
lube, and dental dams,
and instructions.
Yeah,
I just happen to have here.
You've got
this?
You do. You have a little baggie. They were handing out little care packages. It kind of looks like a little first aid kit.
You've got to read the instructions here. Can I read the instructions?
You know what? Go for it.
Do you want to hear this?
Yeah, I do. How involved the instructions?
They're pretty straight ahead.
Well, they should be.
But they're a little graphic. I'm going to warn you right now.
It's kind of A goes into B, B goes into C.
So when
That's
your family was
right?
at the parade this last weekend and these packets were being thrown at you?
It was just me. I was there solo. I went to the parade. I went to the Pride Parade stag.
I'm not even sure that's allowed. Can you read that, John?
I can barely read this. No, it's way too small. You can't read it either.
I can't read it.
It's really small.
They're graphic instructions about what to do with this package I'm holding in my hand here.
Think about going bare. I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff. Something about consent.
Something about consent. Is that a new concept to you?
It does. It says make sure there's consent.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It says use lots of lube. That's the second point.
Yeah, and I've got two packets here of it.
Spread your condomless adventures over time to allow you as time allow your oh wow.
Sorry, you want to read that out a little louder?
Okay. Spread your condomless adventure over time to allow your should I use your actual terminology?
Yeah.
Your ass to heal.
Now, does that mean heal like get better or heal like sit like a dog? I'm not sure what reference.
Or when they say ass to heal, do they just mean your heel simply goes to your ass?
These are actual
It
instructions.
Is. No kidding.
That come with the package that were being thrown off the floats.
Be aware of pain levels. Sex shouldn't be painful.
Now, hold on. Not so fast.
That was when I got the talk. When I was given the sex talk, that was the only thing they said. Sex shouldn't be painful. Okay, go get them.
You get the drift now. Get out there.
All, get out there, slugger. And know the risks. Don't know them? Talk to us. And then you make a phone call. If that seems like a phone number we should call on another show to know the risks.
Anyway, thank you, Pride, for helping.
And there's a little picture here of what looks like Freddie Mercury without a mustache, toweling off. Like it's from his I'd say about his midriff up, and he's toweling off.
That's a great package. Coming to you free. All you had to do was stand at the side of our main street in downtown Ganges.
Yep.
And you didn't have to walk up to the float. They threw them at you.
Yeah.
A little Billy right beside me, a little 7-year-old Billy, he got one of these packages and he said, Mommy.
I know. They
what do I do? Here, I'll read the instructions, Mom.
I know. Do you have a problem with it? Like, do you think it's...
No, I think that's a good way to learn.
So instead of having a sex talk, which I'm vehemently against.
I couldn't agree more.
I don't believe in sex talks like that. I don't believe in the traditional Ward Cleaver sex talk, like where you probably sit down and lay it out to some poor kid. And I'm saying that because, well, that's what I went through.
Do you know the dirtiest words ever spoken on television?
No.
Hey, Ward, don't you think you've been a little rough on the beaver?
I don't... you might be taking that out of context. Are you?
I don't know. I just that's somebody said that to me once, and it made a lot of sense.
So
but
yeah,
no, I agree. No sex talks.
I went to the Pride Parade in a young.
And you went stag. You said you were by yourself.
Went stag. Yep. And I was watching, and it's weird. It's weird going stag to a Pride Parade because people kind of notice, right? Yeah. And you seem like you're weird,
trolling.
Kind of, but what are you trolling for?
I would say in your case, I would think it would be a buy situation. I think the men would be looking at it and going,
I don't know if I want to buy it.
That's that Bateman boy.
Yeah.
And then the girls are going, ooh, that's that Bateman boy.
Yeah, that happens.
So I think I could see you appealing to both sides.
Yeah.
You've got that look. I used to appeal to both sides.
I've had my most stalkers have been the gents.
Have been other men.
Yeah, just 2 of them.
That stat doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, really? Yeah. So you think that's right in the wheelhouse? It shouldn't be higher or lower. You think that's about what you'd expect from me for a stat for being stalked by a gentleman?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me? I was drifting there. I was just thinking about that Pride Parade I missed.
It was a good parade. You missed.
Were there floats?
No, there were people walking.
Not as such, eh?
People walking with banners.
Yeah.
There were people, as you say, handing out condoms, lollipops. Of course, because those are like penises. So I think that's okay to do that then. They were handing them out to kids, but I don't think kids really see them that way.
It's like watching The Simpsons. The kids are laughing at one thing, and you're laughing at another thing.
Except at one point I reached, because they didn't give me lollipops because I'm a good adult.
They give you condoms.
But I reached over to the kid and I said, hey kid, give me that sweet, hard, sugary lollipop. Right?
A lollipop may be a phallic symbol, but it's still a lollipop.
Yeah, cherry in this
case. I think
case.
Churchill said that.
Yeah, was it?
No, it was Freud. It was Freud talking about cigars.
Freud said it to Churchill.
He might have over a couple of cognacs. Well, that Churchill had a tough ride. I don't see him in any
Anyway, it's
parades.
the first time in the Pride Parade that I saw toplessness in females. I hadn't noticed before.
Hold on a sec.
Yep, there was 2 females whose... I'm trying to think of a delicate way to put it. Whose boobs were bouncing around.
Zeppelins?
Whose boobs were bouncing around when they were walking.
Is that what you meant to say? Really? Well, that's how that works in a gravity situation.
I feel like they were misplaced.
Were they vertical stacked or were they horizontal stacked? Is that what you mean?
One right beside the other.
Side by each. Okay, go on.
There was one on the left, one on the right.
Yep.
I didn't examine symmetry.
Favorite situation.
I didn't examine symmetry, but although generally breasts are the same as testicles, that there's usually one larger than the other. You can check that out now if you want to take a few seconds.
That's actually true.
Do you want to take a few seconds here?
And check out your breasts?
No, your testicles.
I can't see them from here.
I can. I can clearly see.
Do you want me to close the robe? Do you want me to close the robe?
Yes, that was part of the pre-show scuttlebutt. Hey, Matt, would you close the robe? So anyway, I feel like the topless women were a little bit misplaced because I'm not sure what toplessness has to do with pride, with lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transsexuals. I don't know what it really has to do with that. I think they're gunning for the public nudity thing. I get that. Is
there some shock value involved?
Not on Salt Spring.
Right.
Certainly not.
Yeah, that's true.
You want that, you go to one of the lakes around here and you'll find it.
Yeah, that's not hard. That's true.
But or my trampoline on a Friday night. But aside from that, you will not. I mean, it's just everywhere. It's rampant on Salt Spring.
Could you go back to your trampoline on a Friday night? Now, if I was to drop in, what would I see? Don't
Probably
have to mention names.
Probably somebody topless on a trampoline.
And it wouldn't be you.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I might do that. So
no,
what's today,
you
Monday?
remember what the doctor said.
Yeah, no trampolining.
Right. Speaking of doctors, did I tell you what I did today?
Yeah, unfortunately you did. Why don't you tell everyone else though? I don't want them to miss out. John had what did you said you had like hydrogen peroxide pumped into your body or something?
Yeah. That's what they did.
I must not have been listening. What happened again?
I've been whining about a shoulder injury for a long time. And my doctor told me to stop whining about the shoulder injury. Okay. And so I went in and got imaging done, ultrasound, and I've got a damaged rotator cuff.
Jesus, John,
and
are you okay?
A touch of bursitis. And
with just a hint of bursitis.
A pinch of bursitis. And so I went in today to get what do they call?
You make me sick. Anyway, go on.
Cortisone injection.
That stuff is good. You can do it in shooters as well.
And I went in and I lay down on the bed on this cot, like a cold, sterile plate metal.
Did you have any condoms with you?
No.
It wasn't that type of situation.
No, and it's interesting. He lay a piece of lead under my groin area and said, I hope you don't plan on having kids, or I hope you already have kids. And I said, I already have kids and I have a vasectomy, so just fire away. But then I realized I should take my iPhone out of my pocket because my biggest concern was my iPhone getting damaged.
Right, losing some memory on it.
I don't care if my testicles, who knows what's going on with them right now.
If they lose some memory, who cares about your iPhone?
I don't know why they're worried about that when they're supposed to be pointing it directly at my shoulder anyway.
Well, yeah, why was he messing around with your groin?
I was lying face down the whole time. And the doctor came, there was an imaging guy, and the doctor came in and they gave me a needle, and that dulled the senses. And then they gave me another needle. Well, they put another needle in.
Yeah.
And they pumped it. Listen to this. They pumped my shoulder joint full of air. And it was a weird sensation. It felt like there was air being pumped into my shoulder joint.
Well, there was, because you said there was.
That's about the only way I could describe it. Picture if you're a snake and somebody puts like a bicycle pump in you. Imagine being a snake. And then
like on cartoons, and then they kind of blow up like a big balloon.
They pump a couple of pumps into you. But you have to really be able to imagine you're a snake. So they did that, and then they stick a 5-inch long needle into your shoulder, which I'm not looking because I'm face down.
Well, you want to be. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, I'm face down. So they stuck the needle in, and then they shot steroids into me. And then they said, so I was lying there, and the next thing I know, there's somebody shaking me, tapping me, and it was one of the guys in the park. I was on the park bench.
No kidding. So you went from the hospital, laying on your side, to finding yourself in the park on a park bench.
Yeah.
Now, was that during Pride Parade?
And my socks were gone, but I found them later. They were still on my person, but
Just
they weren't on my feet. They weren't on my feet.
Gotcha. That's a crazy story.
So now my shoulder makes a swishing noise.
Like a swishing,
clunky noise.
Jeez, that can't
it's
be
really
good.
Gross.
It's disgusting. I wouldn't want to sleep with you.
No. Don't worry.
No, not for that reason, but just because I wouldn't want to have to listen to that.
Oh, you don't? Yeah. Listen to me talking about it or complaining about it?
I think both. Because eventually you'll fall asleep and then all I'll hear is this sort of...
So I know you got some things to get to, but it just reminded me, because this is one of the things I threw down that I thought for the show.
I don't think we should call this a show, but go on.
The event, the happening, podcast.
Sure.
Anyway, I was sitting in the hospital waiting, right?
You had to wait, but you're Bateman. You're a Bateman. That doesn't seem right.
I know that.
Anyway, go on. Sorry, I don't mean to interject. Didn't your family give a lot of money to the hospital?
Maybe.
And then you have to wait. Anyway, go on.
My dad bought a colonoscopy machine for them once.
But that wasn't that the one he had around the house for...
No. He and I made a special trip to Costco. We picked one up.
You can get one
normally about $35,000. We paid $25,000 for it because you have membership.
Yeah. Membership has its privileges.
So we got one of those Costco as seen on TV colonoscopy machines. And anyway, so whatever. That aside, I was sitting down, and then this woman sat down with this gentleman, and this woman looked like a kind of a hippie type, hippie vagrant type.
Yeah.
The kind you wouldn't really think would be allowed in a hospital. And she was sitting there, and she said, "Okay." And she sat and looked at this guy, and I could tell this guy was in pain, deep emotional pain.
Because she wouldn't shut up?
No, because she said, "Okay, do you want to go first or should I?" And I thought, okay, here we go.
Is it the pregnancy test or the
And
VD?
then she
It's a
looked at
VD
me,
thing.
looked straight at me, and I realized I didn't think, here we go. I actually said, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
right?
Right, out loud, yeah.
Anyway, she said, last year, I started doing salt water treatments. And you lie in salt water, and salt water extracts all the toxins from your body. And I started thinking about these alternative healing situations. And these people feel so much better after having one of these treatments.
Yeah.
And do you know what I realized?
No.
They just like it. They feel better because they're just taking an hour and being completely frigging lazy.
Irresponsible.
They're
and
doing,
then they try to make it look like
nothing.
a therapy. No, I
it's
see.
not the therapy that's doing anything. It's just that they're lying down somewhere. They're prone. It's simply a matter of being prone. Like, I think I should start pronoscopies.
You know what we should do? We should start taxing those people.
Yeah,
Every time they lay down for like an hour to do a salt thing, then that's like $40 in taxes.
But they're probably paying $60. Like, you're talking.
Well,
that's 66% almost right on top of that.
You got to pay to play, right? It seems you're right. They're being counterproductive. That hour drifts by. They get up, it's like, oh, that was great. But what's gotten done?
But there's businesses where they have cuddle puddles.
Bastards.
Where there's businesses where they have cuddle puddles. And
Sorry,
I just
what?
want cuddle puddles.
What's that?
It's where what? You don't know what cuddle puddle is?
What the hell are you talking
Where the
about?
hell have you been?
Apparently, I don't frequent the bars you do.
No, it's not a bar. It's where a bunch of people get together at an undisclosed location.
Well, how do they know to go there?
Well, I think there's probably some kind of, it's like that alternate internet or something that they get on. And it's the same one where you can watch snuff movies.
Is that like the Underground Railroad? Is that this other internet you speak of?
Not quite the same.
Anyway,
I don't
go
think
on.
people can physically travel.
I see. So then,
So a cuddle puddle, you go to a place and everybody lies down in one big pile and everybody cuddles.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why would you do that
It sounds
with your clothes on?
It sounds a lot like what hell would sound like for me.
Who was it that once said hell is other people?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the epitome of, you're right, hell.
Yeah, hell it is.
Hey everyone, let's hit the floor and cuddle.
That's what they do. That's
But
what a
there's
cuddle
400
puddle.
of us.
Yep, that doesn't matter. That's just a bigger puddle. That's closer to like a cuddle lake, a cuddle pond. I'm sure there's numbers. I don't know what it would be to get up to a cuddle sea or a cuddle ocean.
Yeah, like where does a puddle end in a...
It's probably one
a
person. Like
stream begin?
maybe you're at 500 and it's a pond, and 501 is like a lake, a cuddle lake.
We should let's spend some time tomorrow and try to get to the bottom of that. That's a really good. When does a town become a village or a village become a city?
There's a number.
There has to.
There's a number.
So you're thinking a cuddle puddle would have that same?
It's got to.
It has to.
Anyway, I think that so I want to start pronology, and it does everything. It removes toxins, it relaxes you, it enchants you, it enlightens you, it gives you peace, and basically you just lie prone because that's all you're really doing when you go to any of these treatments anyway. And of course you feel better. Somebody's been rubbing your body for an hour. Mm. It has nothing to do with nothing. Salt water doesn't extract toxins from your body.
No, it doesn't.
Any more than fresh water would or chlorinated water.
I think it extracts life force, I think is what it's pulling out of you.
You think so?
Yeah, every hour you spend sitting in salt water is just an hour less of...
An hour off your life.
Yeah. In fact, I've read somewhere that if you lay in salt water for an hour, it shaves a year off your life. So if you spend 10 hours doing that, that's a decade shaved.
Because I was probably like 4 or 5 hours on the beach this summer. That's like, wait. So that's like 50 years.
How old are you now?
That means I was going to live to like 100 and...
We should talk faster.
I was going to live to 97, but now I'm going to die literally right now.
Soon.
Right now.
Jesus. I don't think I got enough to carry the rest of the show. I mean...
All right, well, thanks for listening. Okay, so if you didn't go to Pride Weekend, I have no idea what you did because people don't really know that you and I don't communicate at all between shows.
Well, I went to a conservative convention.
How were you? Because you were in Alberta. How was that?
I was in Alberta. I flew there last Wednesday.
It's an NDP, bastion of NDP.
Well, it is now
now.
provincial,
Yep.
yeah. But Stephen Harper, I don't know if you know him. He's the Prime Minister.
Yes.
His riding is Calgary or Okotoks or...
Yeah, it's Okotoks.
You know what I mean?
It's Calgary. It's Calgary, Okotoks West.
Yeah. So that's like you're in ground zero for Harper. Now, as you know, I'm not big on old Harper. I am, actually. And I think he's really in for it this time around, which I hope he isn't. anyway, that was the exciting part of being there.
Who are you going to vote for? Do you mind if I ask?
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
How dare you insinuate I'm going to vote for Harper?
Okay, so you were in Alberta, you're in Calgary at Okotoks West in his riding.
And then we rented a car and we left his riding.
Now, when you say we, that's you and your family.
Me and my family.
Yeah.
We went up for what turned out to be a 5-day affair up in Calgary.
Now, wait a second. An affair.
Event. A 5-day event. It was
Got you.
It was we started within the airport, a cuddle puddle.
Yeah.
That's how they greet you in Calgary.
They've got that special lounge.
Everyone who's on the plane, they get off and you lay down in the lounge and you just cuddle for a bit because you lived. Because, I'm not big on flying, you know that.
Airplanes.
So then we rent a car. And
Did you drink? So the flight from here, I figure, is in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour 20.
Did you drink?
I didn't because the flight that left in the morning left really early.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. But on the flight back, I did.
Yeah, because it's no excuse if it's too early. But if they're not selling you booze, and there's nothing you can do.
I had 4 ounces of bourbon and a big sleeve of beer before I got on that plane.
Before you got on?
Before I got on.
And did you have anything when you're on the plane?
I had a beer while I was on the plane.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then I took a swing at the flight attendant.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. But as everyone agreed with me, he had it coming.
Yeah, well, consensus was reached in the cabin.
They were a little disappointed I was able to get that crowbar onto the plane. But.
So no, I'm gonna crack a joke here because you know me, I like to crack the one-liners, right? I'm quick with the one-liners.
Not good on the cerebral stuff.
Okay.
Good with the one-liner. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
What did Matt go to Calgary for? A second, say what?
You're actually asking. You're doing a joke.
What did Matt go to Alberta for?
What, John?
To go to a horse jumping competition.
That's actually what I went for it.
What?
I went to Spruce Meadows. You've never heard of Spruce Meadows?
What kind of spruce?
Let me tell you a little something, John. Just south of Calgary. I'm going to say, Calgary proper. Due south, a family by the name of the Southern family, back in 1976, opened a facility.
Wait a second.
360-acre facility.
Yeah.
Called Spruce Meadows, and they decided they wanted to build it into a world-class horse jumping a ring.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 2 stupid questions.
Sure.
Right, just quickly. Why did they call it Spruce Meadows?
Don't know.
Really?
I bet there were spruce trees there in a meadow.
Really?
And so they probably went, Spruce Meadows.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my second question.
Yeah.
My first was why do they call it Spruce Meadows? Because there's spruce in a meadow.
Yeah.
And the second stupid question, which is the stupidest question on earth, is really.
Yeah. Yeah, really. That's the most I come up with, Spruce Meadows.
If you want to waste a bunch of time in your life, every time somebody tells you something, say really.
So there I am at Spruce Meadow. Now let me tell you, this is another world, buddy.
Yeah.
This is championship show jumping.
Which I don't care about.
International. There was 10 countries represented. Brazil, Netherlands, Italy, France, Canada, US, Belgium, Switzerland. They were all there. Germany.
Must have been some impressive riders.
Jesus.
I mean, some really top quality riders.
World class. We're talking Olympians.
Yeah, the best riders in the world.
And they're world champions at this. They've been to the Olympics. Ian Miller. You know Ian Miller, Captain Canada.
Oh, gosh.
Captain Canada's been to 10 Olympics, John.
Do you know what I hear? 10. Do you know what I hear? The training the riders have to go through just to get to that point. Here's what they have to do. They have to learn to get on a horse and ride it.
Yeah. That's step 1. And then step 2, when something's in front of you, jump over it.
So does the rider jump over it, or
yes, he does.
Clarify.
With the horse underneath him.
He does it with
the horse.
They
do it in tandem.
Really? So
it's like
okay.
a
So wait a
snuggle
second.
puddle.
If you're barreling towards that thing on a horse, and the rider doesn't give the instruction to jump, the horse is just going to plow right through it.
Well, sometimes they stop in their tracks about 3 feet away. They just hit all 4 brakes, and the horse refuses to jump.
Now, is that the horse's fault or the rider's fault?
It's hard to say. The riders, these guys are high strung. The athletes are high strung. The horses are high strung. There's a lot of pressure. Everything has to be perfect. You can't hit a rail. It's like playing classical piano in front of a concert hall and you make one mistake and everyone starts booing you.
This is one of the first parties you've been to where you weren't allowed to hit a rail.
I think I got that reference. John, it's the craziest damn thing. There was a British announcer. The announcer, he was doing the play-by-play, had a British accent.
That's great.
He had a British accent.
That's
How great was that?
That's good.
Right? So it adds all that character, all that extraness to it.
And now jumping is Willoughby Snit with second-time world champion Jamie Brunheiser.
Now, that's the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. Their names, these show jumpers guys' actual names.
Like fake names.
Well, they're real names, but they're like Kent Farrington. And then there's Brewster Chadworth riding Chivas. And they go on like this. It's...
So wait a second. There's no like Mortimer Dinksville. Like there's nobody named, there's no rider. No, Dinksford.
Mortimer Dinksford.
Okay, that seems better.
Riding his horse, Rolls Royce.
But is there is there John Smith?
No,
there wouldn't be a John Smith.
They wouldn't even let you near the place. I mean, Spruce Meadows this wouldn't let you in the door.
You wouldn't be allowed to become a rider, I don't think.
Chadford Rutherford II, right? Pritchard Nixington.
So these are all people you essentially want to beat up. Like these are people you want to bully.
These are rich kids. These are and you know who I met? Who I actually met? Georgina Bloomington. No. Who's the guy that ran New York? Who's the guy that ran New York? Bloomberg. Georgina Bloomberg. I met her. Now she's a daughter of Michael Bloomberg. Is it Michael or David?
Michael Bublé.
Well, he's
Mayor Bloomington.
Billionaire who ran New York City.
Okay,
this is his daughter.
You met a pretty little rich girl at a horse jumping competition. Surprise.
She's not what I'd call a rich girl.
Well, she's got to be.
Dad's a billionaire, John.
Yeah, so basically...
Rich is like your family.
She's wealthy. She just wanders around behind him picking up $1,000 bills as they drop.
Where are you now, darling? Well, I'm in Spruce Meadows. Oh, good. Do you want me to buy it for you?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Father, that's fine.
Yeah, it's quite ugly. It's not like the cottage.
Are you hanging out with Hunter Pickwick still? Yes, Father. Me and Hunter.
So they all had like those kind of pedigree names though. Like no kidding.
It's just spectacular. I loved it. That's one of the things I love about this sport. And it's a sport, John. These are horthleets.
But was that okay? Listen, I respect the horses.
Beautiful creature, absolutely beautiful creatures.
The riders, they're junk. The riders are nothing. We have a history of me complaining about this.
I know.
There's nowhere else in the Olympics where they allow another creature to essentially win the medal for you.
And check this out. You're right, but here's what else happens. Men and women compete at the same level.
Is there a handicap?
Yeah, well, one is a woman. Is that what you meant?
I guess I did.
No.
I meant a weight handicap.
No, all they got to do is jump their horse through the jumps and get in under the time.
As fast as they can.
As fast as they can.
And they get punished if they knock a rail down.
Well, they get a fault. They get a 4-point fault.
4 points or seconds?
It's called a fault. And then there's time faults. If you break out of your time, if you run the course in over the allotted time, they give you a time fault.
Well, that's horrible. It's like you're already having a bad race.
Yeah.
You're already longer than your allotted time, and they punish you by adding more time?
They give you a time fault. And the horse at this point is then treated like dirt. The horse will actually...
Yeah, of course.
They've got this machine where the rider will just ride, if he has a bad run, and he walks it into this vaporizer, and it turns him into glue, like that white LePage's glue. It's a useful glue.
Yes,
but it's like, boom!
Just like that. It's
like
vaporizer, gluerized.
And that was Chauncey.
Okay,
Chauncey.
Let me ask you this question. And this is an obvious question. Did they have a moment of silence for Christopher Reeves?
You probably shouldn't have said that.
Did they?
Yes. It's now become mandatory at all horse events.
I mean, I wouldn't have asked if I didn't know that so many people wanted to know that are listening.
He's the poster boy for horse jumping gone wrong.
That guy, so they have like little advertisements about wearing helmets and stuff.
Safety, it's not like auto racing where safety's so paramount. It's kind of. We saw one horse crash, and it was a pretty spooky thing. The horse falls, a rider tumbles. You don't know if the horse is going to get up.
Did they go out in there?
Yeah, and they
shot the rider right away.
Well, they shot the rider first. They got out there.
Well, the owner would go out. Yeah, the owner would go out and shoot the rider.
And then the horse got up, so he was fine. And then they kind of went, geez, probably shouldn't have shot the rider so quick.
Yeah.
And there goes, Rutherford Pixwell.
Rutherford Pixwell the 7th.
The 7th. Sorry about Rutherford. Send his widow a ham. They do that. They send the widows a ham, which is a very nice
It's
touch.
a horse ham, though.
It is a horse ham.
Yeah.
So it was quite a scene, John. It was an amazing thing. And, it made me realize that horses, and women.
Yeah.
There's
just a second. Do you want to think for a second? Because a couple of
Why
seconds
would I
ago,
start now?
a couple of seconds ago, a guy made a really tasteless Christopher Reeves comment, and I'm wondering if. Go ahead. Okay, here I'll start. Horses and women.
Yeah,
keep going.
Are unbelievably similar.
Okay. Yeah.
For me, anyway. In so much that.
Okay, here we go. The qualifications.
I don't understand horses either.
No. And to be completely frank, all horses are crazy.
They're pretty crazy creatures. There's no question.
They really are.
You know, you can train them pretty good, but deep down they got that kind of pit bull look.
I've done my fair share of horseback riding.
Have you? You don't look like someone who would ride a horse.
Oh, yeah. I've got cowboy boots.
Do you really?
Yes, that I've actually used for horseback riding.
I went horseback riding while I was up there. There's pictures of me on Facebook sitting on a horse.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I did it all.
Did you wear a helmet?
I did not wear a helmet. And you know what was funny?
What?
Yeah. They didn't even offer them up. And then you start feeling like you're some kind of, don't we have supposed to have helmets? Oh, yeah, sure, pretty boy. You want a helmet, eh? You know?
Yeah, then you feel like an idiot.
I've fallen off a horse 40 times. My grandpa fell off a horse 40 times, and we're fine.
Yeah.
Well, grandpa's dead, but it wasn't the falls.
I've spent probably a total of about 30, 40 days on horseback. Not hours, not 30, 40 days worth of hours, but 30, 40 days.
Was that when you were on the Dark Continent?
No. Oh, I did go horseback riding. Yeah, there. No, one was in Montana, one was in Alberta.
Yeah.
Because, I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? Privileged. And we didn't wear helmets. We wore cowboy boots. And what you're saying about this, the not wearing a helmet thing, I talked to one of the cowboys. Who didn't like me.
That happens a lot with
boys. He
boys.
Wanted to kill me.
That happens a lot with you and boys.
Anyway, he's the guy that would go out in the springtime and get the horses back because they all go out to winter out wild.
Who knows where, yeah.
And he said he's camping. And he said he got kicked in the chest by a horse. Mm-hmm. And he lay in his tent coughing up blood for 3 days. And then he got better.
And that guy hated you.
Well, yeah, of course. That's pretty much automatic.
You ever been kicked in the chest by a horse and coughed up blood for 3 days? Well,
he was a scary guy.
Yeah,
he was a scary guy.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a crazy place. If you get a chance to go to Spruce Meadows.
So you'd recommend it?
Highly recommend it.
Yeah?
Absolutely. They had beer. You could drink beer.
Yeah.
You applauded. People were shushing you.
Did they? Really?
When the horse game was getting ready to jump, the whole crowd is almost like golf. Everyone goes, shh.
That's
it was unbelievable.
Downright stupid.
It's incredible. These people are working on a whole other level.
I cannot believe this because before you went to this horse thing, you were like, oh my God. You didn't want to go. You couldn't think of anything worse. Is that true?
No, I could have thought of worse things.
Yeah, okay. But but then I guess this is something that's good about you.
Yeah.
Is that you go to these events and you're, I'm not sure. And then you come back a convert.
Oh, John, I met Ian Miller. I
don't know who the hell Ian Miller is.
It's because you're so stupid.
Is he like the Wayne Gretzky of horse jumping?
Yes.
And he's Canadian.
He's been to the Olympics 10 times. How many people have been to the Olympics 10 times?
He must be 80. How old is he?
He's 67.
Well, when did he start? When he was 4?
Oh, 20. You go, every 4 years, 10 years.
Has he won anything?
He's won all sorts of stuff.
Has he won gold?
I don't know.
You know what? He hasn't because Canada doesn't win gold medals except in hockey.
Captain Canada. And you know what else I can tell you about horse jumping?
Wait, he can't have that nickname. Whoa.
He's called Captain Canada.
Just listen to me.
Okay.
Just listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
How many captains are there in horse jumping? Like,
None.
He's the captain.
None.
Then why the hell? If you're Wayne Gretzky, you're called Captain Canada. If you're like whatever the fellow is that's the captain of the Montreal Canadiens.
Bazon Dijon.
Yeah, you're Captain Canada. Bazon Dijon. Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's the nickname except for Ian Miller.
If you're
I met?
a boneheaded horse jumper, you can't be called Captain Canada. You can be called Captain Horse Jump or something. Not Captain Canada.
Anyway, he's been to the Olympics 10 times.
Well,
just let's just leave that. And I'll tell you something else about championship horse jumping, John. It is, and I'm going to just say this. It is the whitest sport there is.
Yeah, really.
You stand there in the grandstands and you just do a 360 and look around you and go,
yeah.
Let's see, white,
yeah,
white,
yeah,
really white.
Yeah, like albino.
I'll
almost.
look over to my left here. white,
Yep.
white. The whole place is just teeming.
Of course it is.
It's like it doesn't seem to appeal to the urban Negro, for example.
No, they wouldn't. There's no talent needed to do it.
You couldn't strap me on a horse and send me over those jumps, John.
That's fine, but we could. Like technically, we could strap you to the horse.
Yeah, no.
Wait a second. Wait a second, and inject you with something that put you in a semi-conscious state,
like air and cortisone.
Yeah, and sent you. Give the horse a little whack on the ass and sent you on your way through the course. And the horse would do it automatically. The horse would just run it without thinking because it's just a creature of habit. It goes around the course. It's like, it's like jump, jump. Doesn't matter what's on its back.
Well,
you could strap a friggin'
stuffy
a flat screen TV and a lamp to it, and it would still do it, and it would still probably get a better score than if you had Pickworth Withington the fourth.
Picton Witherford.
Oh, sorry.
Picton.
Okay, sorry.
His brother's name was Pritchard, and they called him Prick for short.
Prick.
Pritchard.
Incredibly. So you must be Prick.
Anyway, I completely embarrassed myself. It's this crowd full of white people.
Yeah.
And I like white people. They're fine. They seem to be
You're white yourself.
And I'm walking through the fairgrounds there, and there was a Sikh.
Yep.
Dressed, and he had security. It said security on him.
Yeah.
Beautiful blue turban.
Yep.
Nice beard. These people are beautiful people. I just love looking at Sikhs. They're just.
Yeah.
You ever admire them for?
Of
And
course,
I went up to him.
course.
I said, "Hey, you're a security here?" And he goes, "Yeah. I've been here for." Well, they used his Sikh accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I've been here for. I don't want to. Sound like
it's
I'm making
offensive.
fun.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it in a white voice, which is more appropriate.
Your voice. Yeah.
So the Sikh gentleman said, "Yes, I've been here for quite a few years, and I really enjoy the place, and it's a lot of fun for me." I said, "That's great." I said, "It's kind of neat that you've overcome this situation about being around horses." And he said, "Come again?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, your people eat them, don't they?"
Oh.
And then he said, "What do you mean, my people?" And then I was like, "Oh, geez."
God.
And then I went, "Well," and then I tried to cover it. I said, "Well, Eskimos love horses."
Oh.
And he says, "First, I'm not an Eskimo. And secondly, you don't call them Eskimos anymore."
Inuit.
Right. So at this point, the other security, the non-Sikh security, started kind of, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get you back to the paddock.
So one of your white
They thought it was one of the
security-
jockeys, right?
I
Riders. They don't call them jockeys.
don't think and also I
Yeah,
don't
I'm still
think
embarrassed
I don't
about
think Inuit Innu
Yeah.
do like horses. I don't think they have anything to do with horses.
They don't have horses up there?
They might, but if they do, it's just like maybe a horse that wandered
Well,
up there.
I felt I was in pretty deep with this gentleman, and I wanted to extricate myself.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
So I just blurted the first thing out.
Yeah. No, you're not good at that. You've never been.
I like something a little more contained and organized.
Yeah,
so
you've never been good with
ad-libbing.
with not being offensive to people.
Well, there's that too. I've offended a few, but I didn't mean to, and that's I think the most important thing about offending people is you didn't mean to.
Yeah, that happens
then
all the time.
That's just good old fashioned ignorance.
That happens all the time.
And I like ignorance. I found it is actually bliss.
Yeah.
Ignorance is not bliss. Well, it's pretty well is actually.
Oh yeah, I'll say.
I spent my whole life being ignorant.
Yeah.
And, look at me walking down the street.
I've seen you cycling down the street and you look ignorant. You still look ignorant.
Yeah, I know, but I'm oblivious to my ignorance.
So what you said, there was a letter or two we got?
Oh, yeah.
We got a letter from the last show.
Well, we did our first, what are they, their podcast? Is that what these are?
I guess you call that.
We did our first one last week. And I wasn't expecting the response to be as vivid as it is.
Yeah.
Or was.
Yeah.
And, can I read some of the electro mails that came in?
Please do.
We got a couple of telegrams, which surprised me because I didn't think that technology even existed anymore.
I don't know how you received it.
Well, here's one. Here's the first one. This came through the teleprompter. Is it a teleprompter?
You're looking at a teleprompter.
Okay. And it says, if I knew your show was going to be this funny, I would have invaded your show and not Poland. And it's from Hitler.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That guy.
Under the impression.
I wish he would just stay dead.
That came from South America.
I just wish he would stay dead.
No.
And, here's another one that came in, also an electro mail. I may have killed 50 million of my own people, but you guys kill me. That's Stalin.
Wow. He's actually pretty.
I thought he was dead too.
That's funny in some ways. Do you think these guys sent these telegrams and then through time somehow?
I don't know how, but they came through last week. They were slid under my door. You guys really clown around a lot. I like clowns too. John Wayne Gacy. Which one was he?
I think he was he
was the one that did a
serial
clown,
killer that was
serial
dressed
ki-
up as a clown.
And then he used to bury the bodies under his house.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Until they found the bodies. Then he stopped burying them there.
Yeah, then he stopped burying.
That was pretty much the end of that.
I'd shoot every president who ever lived for you guys. John Wayne Hinckley.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Heavy Hinckley. The guy who shot Reagan.
Harvey Oswald Hinckley Jr. Yeah.
He'd shoot all the presidents for us. There's 4 or 5 kicking around right now.
Yeah, that maybe.
Probably just as well that he's in jail.
Let me see. You got Jimmy Carter. You got George Bush's.
Both Bushes.
Bush, Clinton.
You got Clinton. You got
and Barack
the current one,
Obama. And that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it for a live
Ford?
presidents.
Isn't Ford around still?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
How could he be?
Now, I got to tell you, though, that was nice to all those people to weigh in. And thanks, Hitler, for the nod. It still doesn't feel right, though, does it?
No. It doesn't feel physically possible, but...
Yeah. The critics weighed in as well. And I'm going to tell you, John.
Okay.
They weren't kind.
No.
They were pretty harsh, a few of them. The New York Times said, "F you."
Really?
That was all the thing said. That was the whole critique.
That was specifically towards us.
Yeah. And there was a picture of us right beside it.
Jeepers crumb.
Yeah. Now, Newsweek and Time Magazine did something that they haven't done since Bruce Springsteen hit. We were on the cover of both those magazines in the same week.
Yeah.
And the only other person to ever had that happen was Bruce Springsteen.
Is that right?
But there was pictures of us, and they had, when you look through a rifle, the crosshairs?
Yes.
It was a picture of you and me, and then there was like this crosshairs on both of us.
Like separate crosshairs?
Well, it was like it was like
binocular
a double-barrel
crosshairs?
It was like a double-barrel shotgun with binocular crosshairs.
Yeah.
I don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
It looks like we're on target, I guess.
Yeah, on target, on the spot, in focus.
Fox News said, "We haven't seen anything this bad since we watched our own newscasts."
Oh my gosh, and that's terrible. Did you hear, speaking of this, that Rupert Murdoch bought your magazine?
National Geographic?
Yeah. Fox now owns National Geographic.
Good.
Do you know what's going to happen? And I hate to break this to you, because you're one of the few, you and my brother, you hold lifetime subscriptions.
I have them all from 1917 forward.
And you keep getting them because you have a lifetime subscription that somebody paid $100 for back in like 1932.
Like Grandpa Bateman bought.
Well, my grandmother bought my brother a lifetime subscription.
Yeah.
And it was like $500.
Yeah.
And he's
crazy money.
He's still getting them.
I know.
That's going to change.
Murdoch's not going to.
He's going to rescind on that deal, and you're going to have to start paying. You know he is.
Well, it's worth paying for. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm totally down with that.
I can't help but think National Geographic is going to get a lot. What's a better word for here?
It's been going since 1885.
Yeah, I know.
1885, John.
So
I think they know how to keep a megalomaniac at bay. They'll be fine. Don't worry about that.
Really?
National Geographic could have him killed.
They're that powerful.
Yes.
They're kind of Illuminati.
It's a Mr. Murdoch. There's a black gorilla here at the door to see you. Really? Yeah. I didn't think I would have one of them.
Yeah.
He's British, isn't he?
I don't
Crikey,
know.
gorilla to see me, huh?
A British guy runs Fox? 20th Century Fox?
Murdoch, isn't Murdoch?
Yeah.
And then this gorilla comes and it rips them all to shreds. And then there'll be a National Geographic photographer
So
catching
National
it
Geographic sends a gorilla.
Wow, that's
because they
so
do wildlife,
interesting.
A silverback to kill him.
Yes.
So they
You
that
have been
kind of
listening
sway that
to
they can
I
find
Probably
nature.
Shouldn't Say This, but with John Bateman and Matt Steffich. Full podcasts available at ipsstb.com. Tune in next Tuesday.